Hi, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the 2021 BMW M2, or should I say, welcome back to Car Juice, and here's the squeeze on the 2022 BMW M2 competition. This is, this is my favorite car. A $60,000, 5,000 mile 2021 BMW M2 for sale for about $58,000 at the BMW dealership that I work at. This one is furnished in Alpine white and has these beautiful blue and black Alcantara suede interior seats, along with the M competition style steering wheel, and just a phenomenal car. This car debuted in 2016 without the S55 engine in it that it has today. It only had the N55 engine, making much less power, still making less power than the same M3 and M4 comp of this year, 444 horsepower on those, while this car only has 405 horsepower. But that is not saying that it is not a true M car. This thing is absolutely phenomenal and is the purest driving experience that BMW has offered for a while. They offered on the 2021 M2 CS model a carbon fiber roof. This M2 does not have that option available because they never put it on the regular competition, but this is just such a great driver's car, and we got this thing in and I just knew I had to talk about it. Up here on the front of the car, you have your 6-piston brake calipers, as most of the M cars have on them, along with some 19-inch tires, 245, 35, 19s in the front, and then your Michelin Pilot Sport all-season tires here in the back are going to be staggered up a little bit, with 265, 35, 19s in the back. The new M3s and M4s have staggered wheel setups with 19s in the front and 20s in the rear. I believe the new M2s are also set up the same way, but I don't want to put my name on that because I just like to be factually correct. You get a black kidney grille whenever you step up to the M2, and this beautiful ZF, not ZF, you get a beautiful 7-speed DCT transmission as well. Pull the button twice there and that'll open up the hood for you. But underneath the hood, you have your S55 engine, and like all of the other M cars of this time frame, you have a carbon fiber chassis brace that goes over here. Tons of cooling, way more cooling than what's standard on the M240 and M235. You got this huge air-to-water intercooler for kind of like the intake and everything like that, keeping that air nice and cool as it's going into the engine, making it more dense, thus generating more horsepower. You also have tons of extra radiators. You've got a radiator up here behind the winglet. You can see that one there. And then you've also got your oil cooler and your other radiator down there. This car has much more cooling capacity than a standard BMW, making it ready for the track. This was the first car I ever took autocrossing, and actually the only car I've ever taken on the autocross. Whenever I went to BMW's training for my training to be a BMW client advisor, or actually a product genius back in the day, almost 5 years ago now. So this car has stayed very safe and very sacred to me over the years. So it's really cool to finally have a chance to put it on my channel. Unlike the new BMWs, you still have the center locking button there, so in order to get into the trunk you have to make sure that it's unlocked. This one does come with WeatherTech floor mats and the carpet floor mats that do match the seats on the inside. I want to see if I can show you guys how big the trunk is in here by shutting myself in it. I'm also out in the middle of the woods right now, so probably not the best idea to close it all the way just in case, but I can fit in the trunk. So if you wanted to fit some golf bags in there, you may have to lay the seats down. However, if you're transporting bodies, you can do that without having to lay the seats down. Underneath the bottom here, you do not have a spare tire, but you just have a small spot to store your roadside assistance kit that can just basically put some goo in the tire and then air it back up. But apart from that, no real additional storage or anything like that underneath here either. You do have a little 12 volt if you wanted to tailgate in the back of your BMW M2, you can, and then the rear seats just very easily can be folded down just there in the back. Being that this is a sports car, it is not set up to be the most efficient as a daily driver, but you could definitely make it work. So currently, the driver's seat is set up for someone who's about 5'8" and 140 pounds. And whenever you have that seat put back, you have plenty of space. I probably have about 4 inches or so of legroom here in the back, and then you can move the seat backwards to the point. So if you were probably, I mean, if you were 6'2" and had a short 5'8" friend, I don't think you'd have any problem at all as far as transporting your friends to the club or anything like that, as this is really designed for like the young professional, being the starting point for the M2 lineup. The original MSRP on this car was $62,000, and this one is being sold for $58,000. So they also hold their value extremely well. There's a 2021 model BMW M2 for sale at a dealership about 20 miles or so from me in Kenwood, not a BMW brand dealership or anything like that, selling for about $1,000 less than this car with 10,000 miles, and it's a year older. So like, these things hold their value very well, and if you're looking for a car that you wouldn't necessarily drive all the time and just wanted to have something fun in the garage, this would be a great car, similar to like a Porsche 911. So this is a great Porsche 911 kind of alternative, as that car is right around the same amount of power, holds its value the same way, and is an attractive two-door coupe. Let's go ahead and get inside of the driver's seat here. We're not going to be doing too much on the technology in this car. It is running iDrive 6, and after 2018, Apple CarPlay and touchscreen became standard. If you guys are ever driving a BMW and you're curious if it has touchscreen or not, and the screen looks like this, if it has touchscreen, it has CarPlay. If it does not have touchscreen, no CarPlay. Learned that the hard way whenever I bought my 340, but now that you know, you won't make that same mistake. Behind the wheel, you have these massive paddle shifters, so it's very easy to find them whenever you're downshifting or driving on track or anything along those lines. They are not mounted to the column, they are only mounted to the wheel, which I prefer because it makes it a little bit easier to find them whenever you're going into corners and those sort of things, in my opinion. You also have automatic high beams, and you can cycle through your different information here at the bottom of the screen. You can select between 4 or 5 different options there. Dashboard material is okay. You've got a kind of like fake stitch line telling you that it might be leather, but it's really not. And then this beautiful carbon fiber interior trim that goes along the inside of the cabin as well. Heated seats on the driver and passenger side, no heated seats in the rear, which is okay. And then you've got the party zone down here. So with the 7-speed DCT transmission, you can customize how sharp you want the transmission to shift on 3 different levels. Whenever you have it in drive, you can see here D1, and then you've got the 3 little step-ups there. On the 3rd level, that is basically set up for track driving only. This is set up as your daily driving mode, and then this is kind of like a sport mode for your transmission. So that's what I will be driving in most of the time whenever I'm not in automatic, or manual, I mean. Whenever I drive in manual, I always have it on the 3 bumper on the transmission sensitivity level, just as I feel like that is the most fun way to drive the car, because you really feel that punch in your chest between the shifts, and it's just so dang fun. And then moving back down to the party center here, you've got your different engine control button that you can control by pressing the tachometer button. This puts more power to the rear wheels. Being rear wheel drive only, this thing is best to be driven in dry conditions, and you can select between efficient, sport, and sport plus. And then also you have the same for your steering, so your steering will get heavier or lighter. And you can hear whenever you kick into sport plus, it automatically kicks the fan on for the engine, kind of letting that car prep for fast driving and just keeping the engine a little bit cooler. In sport mode, it doesn't have that same fan kick on. As soon as we kick into sport plus, you hear that radiator start to kick back up. This thing sounds absolutely incredible. I did get some GoPro footage for you guys, but let me get you a little bit of a rev on the inside. So, as you guys can tell, this thing sounds absolutely incredible. I absolutely love how the M Performance team did on the regular exhaust for this car. You can get an aftermarket, you can get an aftermarket exhaust, the true M Performance exhaust, to make it sound even better. But this thing is just one hell of a car. As far as sound system and everything like that goes, you do have the lovely Harman Kardon sound system with a huge subwoofer underneath both the driver and passenger seat, which is quite nice if you're someone like myself who likes music and those sort of things. In the dashboard, you can see that there is a digital speedometer, and then you've also on your steering wheel got these M-specific M1 and M2 buttons. So like I was mentioning earlier with your different driving modes, you can customize different things to quickly be hotkey available, so such as turning off the traction control and activating manual transmission mode, and then it'll also put us into Sport Plus immediately for both the steering and the engine response, basically. So with the M1 and M2 buttons, you can very quickly adjust how you want the car to react in different driving scenarios, which is quite nice. And then we quickly talked about the heads-up display, or the infotainment unit inside of the cabin, and it just works well. It's everything that you need and nothing that you don't. So probably iDrive 6 will probably be my second favorite BMW operating system for quite some time, as iDrive 8 is definitely, or iDrive 7 is definitely my favorite, just because it works very well. It does everything that you need without any bloat, like our iDrive operating system 8.5 has. 8.5 is fine, it's good, it's, you know, it does a lot of cool things. It's just a very complicated operating system, basically. The 405 horsepower paired with the DCT transmission is just so fun. It builds power extremely quickly. It's the twin turbo setup, so they use kind of one bigger turbo next to one smaller turbo to more quickly spool up the engine and engage the driver a little bit more. The steering wheel is just the perfect size with the F chassis. And this thing just puts the power down so very quickly. Even in MDM mode, which allows a little bit of wheel slip, it can very quickly put the power down. Please hold for one moment. Well, that was really crazy. So, so yeah, had to put the windows up so that you guys could hear a little bit better what's going on inside of the cabin. Get some air going because it is very sweaty in here. As far as safety features and those sort of things go, the M2 is a very basic, bare bones kind of driver's car. It's got lane keeping assist, so it will help you find your center of your lane and those sort of things on the highway if you start to veer out of it. However, it does not have, this specific model does not have blind spot monitoring. However, it is available if you did choose to option it that way, but this is really set up just to be like a regular driver's car. And then this one also has your for frontal collision mitigation, so it'll slam on the brakes for you if you were to get if you were to come up on somebody too quickly. It's just so it can kind of nanny you just a little bit, but not too many nannies to the point where it's a problem. And again, we kind of mentioned CarPlay a little bit earlier. It does have CarPlay, but no Android Auto. That wasn't really a thing on BMWs until 2021, 22 on our other models, but this one is basically a rebadged 2019, so it's a lot more basic from that sake. This car is so fun to drive. It is just so fun. It's so quick. It's rear wheel drive, so you can do slidey things in the corners. I almost specifically bought this M2 for myself, but I decided not to, as I might be moving and I might not have access to the kind of the garage space that I would really like to within a year or so. So I'm opting to instead probably pick up a 335 and then maybe build out a van to do van life in instead. So that might be coming down the pipeline in the channel as well as more 335 build stuff and those sort of things. So a lot of cool stuff kind of coming down the pipeline on the channel. So stay tuned for that. If you guys haven't subscribed, please consider doing so, because I'm the coolest client advisor in Cincinnati who does YouTube. So if you happen to live in the Cincinnati area and you're looking for a client advisor to help pick up a BMW M2, new or pre-owned, I can be your guy. And then I've also got a lot of great information on X5s and those sort of things, a little more popular models on my channel as well. All right, that I have to end my fun here for the day. Absolutely loved driving the BMW M2. This will forever be one of my favorite cars. It holds its value extremely well, and if you're not wanting to drive a 911, this is a perfect car to get in its stead. But without further ado, guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. I appreciate you guys staying till the end. And if you guys did like it, make sure that you drop a like on the video and consider subscribing, as I will be doing a lot more cool videos on more cars in the future, especially as we get in other cool stuff. But I'll catch you guys later. Deuces.